So once you've got your lists configured and you start creating lists and adding subscribers to the lists, you'll probably realize that you'll want to have some list management set up so that you can keep organized and be able to see exactly what it is that you need and hide what you don't. So one thing that I recommend is looking at the unstar option here. So as an example, let's say that you have a, we'll go ahead and just rename this to, let's say, webinar. Right? Let's say we have a webinar that we're going to be running this month, and we want to add new subscribers to this webinar. Well, what we'll also want to do probably is have those subscribers also be added to the house list. And we can do that by clicking into the list, going into the list settings in the content tab, and the easiest way to do this probably is to say I want to add a trigger here, so all people that subscribe to this list for the webinar will also get subscribed to the main list, right? And that would be this one in this case. We also have the option to skip the welcome email and any additional auto responses because they're going to be subscribing to this this webinar list. So we can do that and go ahead and skip this, and then we can enable it. And that means that any subscriber that is going to be joining the webinar where they subscribe through this list would automatically get added to the house list in this case, which is this one here. We can also see that we have the opposite that is created. So if they unsubscribe from this list, meaning the webinar, they would also be unsubscribed from the house list. But maybe we don't want that to happen. So we can go ahead and just delete that second trigger that is automatically created. So let's say that we go back to the list. I'll just refresh this just in case. So let's say that the webinar is complete. So all the subscribers that previously subscribed to this list are now also subscribed here to the main list. Maybe this one isn't relevant for you to see anymore. So what you can do is you can go ahead and just unstar that, right? It's not deleting the list. It's just hiding it from the primary view, as when you load the lists page, the unstarred lists are not going to be showing by default. You can see actually it's down here in unstarred, so you can go ahead and just click that and it'll show your unstarred lists, and you can add the star back if you want to. But that's just something that I find can be helpful when trying to just keep yourself organized. Another thing that you can do, if this is helpful for you, is to label certain lists. That way they can be a little bit easier to find. So as an example, we can go ahead and click on, let's say, this list here. And in the Configure tab, we can add a label. Maybe we want to add a label, VIPs, something like that, right? You can choose the color that you want it to be, and you can go ahead and save your changes. Then we can go back to the lists page, and we can see here now that there is a label here. And so if you had a variety of lists, imagine you have a lot of lists that are that have been created, and this has the VIP label. You can also click and you can filter by a specific label so that only lists with that label will appear. And that's a way to kind of just help organize and sort through the list content. Another thing that I would recommend is in Simplero, it's usually recommended to only send emails to people that are subscribed to lists. That way they can unsubscribe. So if you're sending broadcasts to specific lists, you could basically say, okay, we can have a list of people that might be, prospects, maybe a list of people who have purchased from you, maybe a list of people that have joined a webinar in the past. This way you can really kind of help organize and create filters of people inside lists. And that way, when you're going to send your broadcasts, as an example, we'll just go into broadcasts here, we can see the lists that we've created simply by selecting them once we go into the view where we're going to be seeing the recipients. Obviously this is loading just a second. So when we get to the page where we're selecting the recipients, we can see here that we can select list subscribers. And if we already have lists already created, we can send emails to specific lists of people. You know, this could be the 4-week Crash Course webinar participants, and we want to email them directly. You can see how this can be very valuable to put specific groups of people into lists, and this also allows for you to send emails to people, and it allows for them to unsubscribe for them if they want to. So I hope this is helpful, and good luck.